Okay, so I just got the mail and I got some more patients into my little restoration hospital. We have a Swirl Ponytail Barbie, a ash blonde version. And you know what's so like cute about this? First of all, it's a side pony, but I can tell when these dolls were last played with. Guarantee these dolls were last played with in the 70s or early 80s. Yarn was very popular to use as like hair ties in that time, so I'm kind of thinking like that was the last time these dolls were ever just like looked at. And then I also got this talking Barbie head. She was on a Francie body. If I ever come across a good Francie head, now she'll have a good body. I put her on the standard Barbie body that needs to be cleaned anyway, so that way she can also be restored as well, and we can get her looking nice also. Looks like the same little child actually created two little side ponies, which is perfect for her, and honestly it's perfect for her too. It hides the fact that she has no hair. But this doll also faces the same fate as the ponytail Barbies. No hair. It was meant to be on the side pony, and that was to save on bulk. Bulk. It was probably also to save money on the talking Barbie as it was. But anyway, yeah, let's take out these little yarn ribbons and let's see what we're working with here. I'm really hoping she doesn't have a haircut. The yarn ribbon in here is very fragile. If I were just to take it like that, you see? Let's check it out. Let's see what we have here. It's just wrapped around her several times. Boop. Okay, so we can look at her as she is. Let's see, even the bottoms. So one thing about the Swirl is she really didn't have long hair. So there were different variations, just as there are variations to dolls today. You would find some with longer hair that had a hard curl on the end, and then sometimes you would find some that had a very blunt cut on the end. And this was towards the end of Barbie's ponytail era, where she no longer had a ponytail anymore. Let me just pose her like this, for instance. I do not think this doll actually had a haircut, so this is perfect. It looks like she has like a tinge of discoloration right over here, and she will need to be repainted in some areas, but I think she's going to turn out really lovely. Let's look at her talking Barbie sister. Now this doll's going to need some new lashes. Her face will need to be recolored, and her lips would need to be repainted, but honestly, that's not going to take me very long. I think the longest part about both of these dolls is going to be the hairstyling. They're going to need their hair to be completely restyled and reset. But from the looks of it, she too does not have any haircuts. So this will be a quick and easy restoration.
Or will it? I mean, I don't know. Continue watching to find out.
What's funny is I was using these as a child as well, because my Nana had spare yarn like all around the house and crafting supplies, and I would always use the crafting supplies to enhance my Barbie's beauty. So these Barbies do feel a little bit dear and personal to me, so we're going to do a really good job at restoring them.
Are you sure about that?
So if you're looking just how to wash your doll, I do have some tutorials on my channel in the playlist if you would like to check those out. They are on the Doll Restoration Tutorials playlist. And the playlist was designed to help you pinpoint exact restoration tips and tutorials that you might need for your project. In case you do not feel like going on my playlist and checking those things out, I will tell you that everything that I use is not fancy whatsoever. You will be able to find substitutions and or these items in your house already. You will need a old toothbrush, preferably soft bristle, a little container of baking soda. I like to use dish detergent, but you're more than welcome to use any type of soap of your fancy. A hair conditioner that is good for lathering, and that is it. And all of those combined, I swear, is magic. And if you are looking for any other tips and tricks and tutorials, please do check out my doll restoration tutorial playlist. As I said before, it is really designed to help you all out in your restoration efforts. And if you happen to have questions, I am here for you as always. I might not be able to respond right away, but I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. What are some of the projects that you yourself are working on? Or is there anything exciting that you have coming in the mail on the way, or anything exciting that you are looking for at this very moment? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, so now we're going to do the Swirl Ponytail Barbie's hair. So you're gonna need to separate her little swoop right here. This little swoop in the front, that is going to be her little swirl bang. So it starts off up here. So you're gonna have like two, do you see this? You're gonna have two little rows. This first row is going to be your bang. This second row is going to be what's pulled up into the ponytail, for the most part, I'll say. But I'm actually gonna start right over here, separating the hair. It can get a little bit tedious, a little bit difficult, but don't worry. You've got this. And I like to use a little hat pin for this. You could use whatever is comfortable to you. Okay. And I'm going to stop right here. Alright, so this is going to be her little swirl bang. It's difficult to say like exactly where it starts if her hair's not already like in that setting. But what we can do is kind of see. So I waited until her hair was actually dry. And you see this really small bit right here? That was actually what her hair looped around. That's like her hair loop. Okay, so we're gonna leave her hair loop out. We're gonna take our little hair band. So same with the other ponytail. You want this hair to go back like this. You don't want it to be right on top of the head. I know the reproductions have theirs like right up top. That is not where it was originally, and that's not where we're going to put it. You want your bangs to come down this way and make a swirl, so you could put your pen like right here if you wanted to. Boop. And then do it that way. Then you've got your swirl going on. Again, this is not like, you don't have to do it this way. There's other ways of doing this. But this is how I do it. Swoop it under, like so. And there we are. Okay, so I'm gonna take my other hairband. Like so. Now this is how I do them. Other people do them in other different ways, so really just do whatever is easiest and most comfortable for you. Okay. There you go. Boop. And there we are. Okay, so now we've got like the little ponytail going on. So I'm gonna take some gel actually, and I'm going to gel down this hair, and then we can get over to the back part of the hair. So I'm gonna use this Got to Be Glued hair gel. This is the same gel that I use for my diluted gel. I'm gonna rub it in between my fingers, and I'm just gonna kiss the top. And then go to the side. I'm gonna go to the sides over here with my excess. Go to the front as well. To the back.
It was at this time my dogs decided to go crazy, so excuse me.
All right, so now that we got the hair gel on there, we're gonna actually just leave the hairpin in there just for a bit until it dries. I'm going to go ahead and brush down like so. Now, this next part is optional. When you have short swirls like this, it is kind of difficult to put a style in, but it's not impossible, okay? So I'm going to put the hairband in first. There we go. And drag it down to where I want it, right there. Okay. And if you wanted to stop here, you're more than welcome to. The original swirl actually had a hairpin that would hold the back of her ponytail into the back of her neck. See that? And that way it gave it that little cute little swirl. And it's like itty bitty hairpins that came with Hair Fair Barbie and the wig sets and all of that. So now with the end of this, you can actually, I'm gonna kind of probably roll this up just a bit, like right about there. We can get our perm paper and just put a little bitty curler there and then curl under. And you could actually, if you wanted to, you could make this a hard curl. Like for instance, let's see here. Like if you put some hair gel on it and then you flipped it up like this, it would be a very tiny hard curl, but it would still be a hard curl if you wanted to hard curl it. But I've seen many examples who don't have a curl on the end, and I honestly think she was one of them. But they have like a slight dent, like a slight indentation of a curl. So I'm gonna take my perm papers right here. Oops. Okay, I'm going to take my pipe cleaner curler and I'm just going to do this, okay? There we go. And now this right here can be boil washed and then you could put your diluted gel on it. Again, it's not going to come out to be a hard curl, but you don't want it to be a hard curl for a short-haired example. You just kind of want it to exist, if that makes any sense. There are two versions of this doll. There are the dolls that have the longer ponytail, and then there are the ones that have the shorter one. And sometimes it is unfortunate, but they do have some hair breakage. So I use silk ribbons. I don't use satin. Silk is exactly what they would have used, like the same texture and everything. Go under and make that little knot. So they did not have long ribbons. They had little knots on the end, just like this. Go. And the hair ribbon was cut accordingly. So, okay. And there we have it. Miss Ponytail with her ponytail. Now, like I said, I'm gonna boil wash the ends and then we're gonna get started on restoring her face.
Before I can work on the talking Barbie's hair, I'm going to go ahead and recolor her vinyl. That way I can get under her bangs and everywhere without having to disrupt my boil wash. If you are a frequent viewer, you already know what I'm doing. But if you are new, I am using chalk pastels to recolor this vintage mod vinyl. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is just use some pinks and then then you wipe off the excess and then you're good to go. There's no need to seal it. There's no need to worry about that. And you are more than welcome to wash it afterwards. So that way it looks a little bit more demure. I know everybody these days are very mindful and demure. I like doing this before I do any of the hairstyling. That way I don't disturb the hairstyling. I also will do this before I repaint. And she is going to need a little bit of a touch up here and there. But otherwise that vinyl is looking good as new. It's time to work on her hairstyle. I just gave her a boil wash to put down her bangs. Kind of separate that thatching right there that's going on. Again, whenever you're working with a doll that has like no hair in the middle of the head, it's always easiest to do it whenever the hair is dry, so that way you have more covering. But it won't matter anyway because she is going to have to be boil washed again to have some curl in her hair. So they are side ponytails. So we're going to go and make our hair come over to the side, right over here. It's unfortunate that she's not a talker. If she were a talker, like her head is, then I could teach you all how to repair the talking Barbies because I also know how to fix those. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of clean it up a bit. So we'll do the other one. So she has like 3 little spots. So there's one right there, and then another one over here on the end, right here. And this is where you will put her little ribbons when we get to it. But she'll be a very sweet doll. Might make that one go up just a bit. There we go. You can go ahead and kind of fluff these out a bit. Like that. There we are. So you can either put your ribbons on now or you can wait until your hairstyling is done. This girl has ash brown hair, but it looks brown in the camera. Take our hair gel right here, rub it between your fingers, and just pat it onto these bangs. They're her 60s picture bangs, which look an awful lot like Cher.
Oh, yeah.
From the 60s. My comb, just kind of comb around. I'm going to comb in this direction, but I'm going to go to the top and flip and just flip it. Okay, go back to this comb, go back to the top, just spread it down. Use whatever you can at your disposal when fixing these dolls. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my perm paper. I'm going to get one of these sections in the perm paper and wrap it like so. Flip up. Okay. Then just down like that. So we're going to do that again. Another perm paper. I love using the pipe cleaner method. It really gives tight curls. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do
is I'm going to go ahead and put the ribbons in. You could wait and save this for last, but I like to do my ribbons before the boil wash because it likes to shock the ribbons into place. I will be using a silk ribbon again. I'm going to use 3. There we go. Okay, so we've got 1 ribbon. I think I might actually try to move it over here closer to the face like that. Okay, so we've got 1 ribbon, and then I'm gonna do the other 2, and then I'm going to boil wash. So I'm gonna do her lashes, and I know I've already made a video about this, but just in case you didn't catch it, you can go and take some hair, make sure it's about 3 strands of hair to do your lashes. You don't want them to be ultra thick. And the reason why you don't want them to be super thick is because you want them to be like this consistency. I know it's very hard to see, but very thin, okay? So I'm going to start down here on the end, like so. And then there is the end lash. So what I like to do is I like to just go ahead and map out the lashes. So I like to put one on the very end first, and then I like to put one on the inner corner of the eye second. So let's see where she had her lash right over here. And there we go. So those are going to be the lashes. So you just fill in between, and that becomes a lot easier when you use that as your guide. And right in there, like so. Do you see how like they're spaced out? You want them to be spaced out like that. You don't want to overlap any. That's how you get them to be looking kind of messy, and then you run risk of ripping the vinyl. The vinyl around the eyes is very difficult, so you have to be careful when doing this. There goes another. Like I said, use thin lashes. Do not use a whole lot. You don't need to. You also do not need to use glue with this method. No need for glue. Alrighty. Okay, there we go with 1 lash. Now we're going to cut. I like to hold my dolls like this, and then do this. And there you go, you've got some lashes.
Time for repaint. So now we're going to get into repainting. When you are repainting doll vinyl, you want to go in with thin layers. That is to keep it looking the most original as possible. If you do not dilute your paints, you will in fact get streaks. And you don't want to see any streaks in your underwear, and you definitely don't want to see any streaks on your dolls' faces.
Yeah, that's right. I went there.
And that was for the 2 people that said they wish Jennifer Coolidge would come back. There you go, you got your wish. Face painting at first can seem really hard, and trust me, it kind of is. And that totally is not your fault. We are over here trying to repaint things by hand when they were originally done with stencils. And although dolls done with stencils can still have different personalities, the face paint will be far more consistent if it's done by stencil than with hand. Because by hand, we can go willy-nilly. Our hands are full of personality. And just like that, she's done. But yeah, anyway, just remember not to be so hard on yourself. If I could go back in time and show you some of my first restorations. You would be shocked. You get better with the more that you do it. It's just with anything. Like today, I feel like my restorations look like this, but in the past they look like this. And the statement is true, with practice makes perfect. I was so lucky to be able to work on a lot of vintage dolls because of my friend Liz, who is a doll dealer. She had a lot of faith in me and she saw a lot of potential, and she let me work on a lot of her Barbies. And with each Barbie I did, I got even better and better and better. And the struggle is so real because these dolls are still so expensive whenever they are so ratty. So I know it's hard to take that leap of faith, but just make that personal investment in yourself and you could practice on dolls you really don't care for, like the new fashionistas. And that way, whenever you feel more comfortable with repainting, you can get started on a vintage doll that you've really wanted to work on. Who knows, you might surprise yourself, but you won't surprise me because I told you could do it. And as I told you before, I know it all. Sliving. Just remember these simple little rules. 1, always dilute your paint. 2, don't stress out. You're gonna do great. And 3, have fun. The same rule that applies for the face also applies for the mani and the putty. I do like to leave them with a nice high gloss sealer. I just like to see a little glimmer and shine. The original polish wasn't exactly matte and it wasn't exactly glossy. It was somewhere in between. And it always left Barbie looking so glamorous. And here they are, all done. We'll start off with the swirl. Do a little 360. She turned out absolutely wonderful. I'm very pleased with how she turned out. I was a little apprehensive about the hair at first. I was for sure that somebody cut it, but they actually did not. That is exactly how she came. And now she just looks simply fabulous as ever. And then her talking Barbie sister, or at least the head of one, is looking just as fabulous. Check her out. She is on a standard Barbie body, but it works for her. It makes her look like the Australian Barbies from the 1970s, where they were using up the old Barbie parts that weren't sold. And she looks absolutely great now. She couldn't look any different from how I first got her, and that is for the both of them. I did buy these two strictly just to refurbish and then resell, but they are so pretty. I don't know what I'll do with them. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little transformation video with these dolls. I hope you learned something, and I hope y'all will come on back. Please like, comment, and share, and tell me what you think in the comments. I hope you all have a fabulous and wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Yesterday, I bought a formal dress, and I got a new boyfriend, and I became queen of the prom. Queen of the prom? And I'm gonna do it all again today. Again? Sure, playing Mattel's wonderful Barbie game. Here's how you play. Start at home, then you shop for formal. And your Barbie and Mitch dolls play along too. And you get all sorts of surprises. Go to parties. You might even get a boyfriend. It might even be Ken. Then you can go to the prom. And if you win, you can be queen of the prom, just like Barbie. Gee, queen of the prom. Well, unless you play with me, of course.
The Barbie game is even more fun when you play along with your Barbie and Midge dolls. All Barbie's clothes fit both of them. These tags tell you they're Mattel's genuine Barbie, Midge, and Ken. You can get them wherever toys are sold.
You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.